All right. Good afternoon, everybody. The Chattering Magpie here to join. Wait, sorry. The Chattering Magpie here. We're going to read some and World Away. Here with the gang. Hello, gang. How are you? Say hello.
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 Happy to see you guys. And unfortunately, we had to postpone our read along for Monday. So I missed you guys sorely, but I just couldn't help it. But we're here today to read a pretty good chapter. I like this chapter, but again, I'm biased. But I like this chapter. What chapter is it again? Oh yes, 107. We're gonna read today.
Are you sure?
Mm-hmm.
Are you sure it's not 108?
I know. Okay, fine. I like both 107 and 108. Okay, both of them are good chapters, even though I say so myself. I sound so pretentious, but I like them. So today we're gonna read 107. It's set in Ehrenfest. And then later on we're gonna talk about since we're almost done with the story, you guys. Well, we're almost done with the available chapters, and I have my work cut out. I have to finish the story.
So she says.
Yes. I only have 3 more chapters to write, and then I'm done. I'm done with The World Away. Maybe I'll write a spin-off. Maybe. Depends.
How many times have we read in this read along? Oh, this is the last part. It's almost done. I'm wrapping it up.
I promise you. I am set at chapter 116. I have written up to 113, I believe. 13, 14, 15, 16. Yeah. Yes, 113 has been done. And so I can't do it because I'm already like really antsy to get writing another fanfic that I have been like so desperate to get started to. So I want to get on to a new project. Plus, we have to read Count of Monte Cristo here pretty soon. So, I don't know, maybe by the time it's my birthday, we'll be reading Count of Monte Cristo. Yay, April. Huzzah, April. All right. So, anyway, but that's a little bit of that. Also, a little bit of news. I already told the gang here on the Discord server, but going forward, due to some work, I will not be able to do any more read-alongs on Monday, at least for a couple of months. And so, instead of just doing it once a week, just Wednesdays, I decided to move it to, instead of Monday, Wednesdays, to Monday, Fridays. So Fridays are a little bit busy for me, but I still have that flexibility of being able to work from home on Fridays, which I would not have on Mondays. So we would do Wednesday same time as always, Wednesday afternoons or 4 o'clock Pacific, and then Fridays tentatively it would be Fridays 1 p.m. so the same time slot that Mondays had. This does mean that we no longer get to have Myne Day Mondays, but it is what it is, you guys. We can have, however, Ferdinand Fridays. Oh, yes. I think that's also pretty cool. I don't know. I'm trying to look at the positive side here. Anyway, so that's just a little bit of a heads up. I think we could be able to do it on Friday this week. So that, yeah, maybe we'll do it on Friday this week. We'll probably start this week. Yeah, let's do that. Let's read 108 on Friday if you guys are free. Okay. So anyway, I think those are the news so far. Let's get started. But before that, I just want to say hello to the gang over on YouTube, the chat. So, the first person on the early gang chat was Red Tempest. Hello, Red. You mischief maker, troublemaker. All right. Says first, once again, congratulations.
I think maybe you need to say his full Discord name.
No.
First and last name, Magpie. First and last name.
No. I refuse.
Patrick.
No. Patrick.
Can you read it?
No, Patrick.
Red
no.
Tempest Ferdinand sucks.
Okay, yeah, you guys see what Red Tempest did. I am, because of him, I am now going to, put on my Empress robes and set out more rules in this server. We already have a ton of rules, but I'm going to add another one. And that is going to be
He's a tyrant.
regarding the names here. So you can thank Red for that. I was going to give him a pass, but since he persists in that, I don't even know what to say. It's not even slander or libel. I don't know. It's worse than either one of those. Yes. Heresy.
There's a question mark. There's a question mark, so
No.
it's fine.
No, it's not fine. How dare you? How dare you, Sarah?
Like, is it?
How
or
dare you?
Does he suck or does he?
No. Oh, Red. You're lucky I like you a lot. All right. So, hi Remy, by the way, was also in the chat, is with us, by the way. Says, good day, everybody. Hello, darling. Happy to see you here. And Teal is also here with us. Says, and so spring comes to Ehrenfest in A World Away. As spring has seemingly arrived here, I think someone activated the magic circle because there was a torrential downpour and it's now 60 degrees outside. 60 degrees, that's freezing. Oh my goodness. Are you okay?
How in the hell is that freezing?
Oh, that's so cold.
I'm melting.
Is it hot? Oh my gosh. Like right now, okay, where I'm at, it's 64 degrees and I'm outside at 64 and it feels cold. So
60 degrees is t-shirt and shorts weather.
For anyone curious, it means 15 degrees Celsius.
Thank you, Yukihime.
Look. I'm sorry, Yukihime. I gotta say this. We use freedom units here.
Yes.
None of your European commie gobbledygook.
Hey. Some of us here are scientists, so if somebody can provide that in kelvins, we would definitely appreciate it. Okay. Thank you, Yukihime, for the Celsius. Whichever the case.
It's 288 Kelvin.
Nice! Awesome! All right. So, see, we got people from all over, and we got you covered. We got you covered, you guys. Though I worry about Teal and torrential downpours. Teal, please try to not get swept away by Fultranus downpour and torrential rains. Take care, please.
Yeah, I'm good.
All right, stay cozy. Now Yukihime is with us. Say hello, Yukihime's there. Says, hey, we are getting closer and closer to the end. I know, you don't have to remind me. I have 3 chapters to write, and they're the hard ones. These last 3 chapters are gonna dictate whether people are gonna say whether my fanfic legacy is for good or evil. I have a feeling that after World Away ends, that people will be like, yeah, Magpie doesn't know how to write, and I'll be like, no, but you're right.
Don't think like that. It's the journey, it's not the end. There's a lot of amazing stories that just don't have an end, and it's okay.
Okay, I feel better.
Don't worry too much.
I feel better. I'll try. I have chapter 114, the draft. I think I have it like first draft is 75% complete. So hopefully, maybe not this week. Well, sometimes I get the feeling that I write a lot during the weekend. So maybe during the weekend I'll write something, or we'll see. It's on its way. Okay, it's in the works. But yeah, we are reaching the end of A World Away, so I'm excited, a little nervous, but that does mean that we are going to be moving on to new projects, specifically kind of Monte Cristo. So yeah, that's gonna be fun. I haven't read the book. I have watched the movie, so it's a pretty good story based on the movie. So I'm excited for that. And let's see. TL does say, just gotta wait and hope for Le Comte de Monte Cristo. Yes, we gotta do that pretty soon. TL, you and Hirami have your work cut out for the highlighting. By the way, you guys, I don't know how many of you guys were here when I read Jane Eyre, but so far we've already surpassed Jane Eyre in how many chapters and read-alongs and word count for Jane Eyre. And that was a pretty long book. So, yeah. And count is going to be longer than A World Away, I believe. So,
Are we finishing before 2026?
maybe. There's a lot to look forward to in 2026, including a certain anime adaptation. So, I just hope we survive till then. All right, and then Red Tempest does say that Count of Monte Cristo is gonna last forever. It'll be 100 years. That he'll be 100 years old by the time we finish the read along. I don't think it's quite that long, but it'll probably be like 100 sessions, maybe. So try to hang in there. Yeah, TL says it's only 117 chapters and 500,000 words. Whoa, those are some impressive statistics. I didn't know it was that long. TL, what if instead of finishing A World Away at chapter 116, I ended at chapter 117? Oh my gosh! Maybe. Wait, no, that means I have to write more. Never mind. All right. I was tempted. Just a little bit. But now my brain is going to be like OCDing and saying, you could have done it. Oh, okay. Hirami says, you know that you can change the name on YouTube as well, right? Hirami, stop giving Red bad ideas. And then... you know, I also have the power to ban on YouTube, right? You know that, right?
You wouldn't.
And no, Saint Patrick does not outrank Empress, okay? Does not. So get that out of your
I'm
head.
sorry, but I've been ordained by God.
You know, God also ordains emperors, so there you go. Alright. So okay, let's do this, you guys. I've caught up to the chat, I believe. Oh, Crusher is here. Hello, Crusher. Hello. If you're able to hop aboard the server and, you know, might as well join these troublemakers. Says, a story's ending matters just as much as its beginning. Okay, so all of the empowerment that Yukihime gave me about the journey, not the destination, is contradictory to what you just said. I will.
You know what? I'm going to go with Yukihime and one of the greatest authors of all time, J.R.R. Tolkien.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that is great wisdom indeed. All right. I think we are good to go. Let's see, chapter 116. 106. Do you guys remember what happened in that one? It was basically just a Ferdinand and Rosamund chapter, I suppose. I better not.
It was so cute.
Okay.
It was adorable. I love them so much.
Yes. Chapter 105 was healing. Chapter 106 was copy and paste. You guys basically know what that means. That is as close as I will ever get to on-screen stuff. Hey, now that I think about it, now that I think about it, thanks, Patrick. Now that I think about it, I think now chapter 14 isn't as bad as chapter 106. In hindsight, I think we could have read it, but then on the other hand, you guys, it was only the girls and me reading, so it lends a different kind of dynamic. If I had read 114 or 106 with the fellas here, it would have been a little bit different. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I'm kind of sad that I missed it. I was I got distracted with playing games.
Yeah, that was very important stuff. I see. I see where your priorities lie. No judgment, no worries. All right, but I'm happy to have you and everybody that's here. And I think I should better stop talking and blabbing and just get to the reading already.
Me.
No, I'm not really judging you. I do know that people have lives outside of this channel and stuff. Even I have a life outside of this channel. Shock, gasp. Oh my gosh. Yes, I do. All right, let's get this started. Chapter 107. Today reading is going to be the following people. Myne is going to be read by Yukihime. Elvira will be read by Magpie, that is moi. Eckhart will be read by Patrick. And also Bonifatius will be read by Patrick. Yes, we are going to have Bonifatius join in this chapter. Ooh, okay, exciting. We have Adelaide, who is going to be read by Hirami. We also have Dolores. Yes, a Dolores, who is going to be read by Teal. And Teal will also read the attendant line. All right, you guys, so we're back in Ehrenfest and we're going to read the chapter titled Motherhood. And again, a great big thank you to Highlighter. I think, who was it this week? I think this was Hirami. So, Hirami, thank you so much for the highlight for this chapter. It makes a difference. So, let's get this started. Chapter 107, Motherhood. Summary. Myne meets Bonifatius, and she and Elvira have an important heart-to-heart talk. By the calendar, spring prayer should have come and gone. Yet the snow continued to fall, thick, relentless, and smothering, blanketing Ehrenfest in an endless shroud of white. It was almost impossible to believe that, according to letters from Eckhart, somewhere to the south the seasons were turning as they should. Here the world seemed frozen in time. The impassable roads were forcing nobles to linger in the city with their carriages idle, their plans delayed, and their unease growing by the day. Even the priest's annual journey to replenish the land with mana had been postponed, leaving the duchy at the mercy of snowstorms that showed no sign of relenting. And yet life moved forward in small, undeniable ways. Myne's belly grew rounder with each passing day, a quiet but unmistakable marker of time's progress. If the unyielding snow seemed to halt the world in its tracks, the life growing within her was proof that even the harshest winter could not stop the spinning of Dragoner. Lady Elvira had told her that it was likely too early to feel the baby moving, but Myne often imagined otherwise. Those faint flutterings deep inside, were they the stirrings of her child or simply her own wishful thinking? Either way, the sensation filled her with wonder and anticipation, as though her body held a secret too precious to fully understand. She rested her hand gently on her belly.
Are you really there, little one?
She whispered, her voice barely audible above the crackling of the hearth.
Or am I just dreaming you into being?
Inside the Linkberg estate, life continued in an odd, subdued rhythm. The old routines were replaced by those that no longer included Dolores, and Myne, who currently sat in front of the fire in the bookroom, holding her tummy, gazed out the frosted window.
I never thought I'd miss that girl,
she murmured to herself, her lips curving into a smile.
Miss who?
A cheerful voice chimed, and Adelaide bounded into the room, followed by her pretty dark-haired attendant. Both their cheeks were pink from the cold outside, even though the walk from the other building to the main house was not so very long.
Dolores.
Myne admitted with a soft chuckle.
Even now she has a way of making her absence as noticeable as her presence.
Adelaide's face fell, her shoulders slumping as she perched herself on the ottoman near Myne.
I miss her too, Myne. So much. I still don't understand why she had to leave. Or why she can't come visit us at least.
She's finding her own path now, Adelaide. Sometimes that's just what we have to do.
Myne said, knowing that such a vague explanation would not really be enough for a child. But considering the circumstances, what else could she tell her? Adelaide's pout deepened, and she fiddled with the ribbons on her dress.
Lady Elvira said I can't even call her Big Sis anymore. She's just Lady Dolores now, but it is not the same.
Myne reached out to brush a lock of blonde hair from Adelaide's face.
Your grandmother has her reasons, so I understand why it feels unfair.
She glanced around conspiratorially, her voice dropping to a whisper.
But you know, Dolores writes me letters sometimes, and she hasn't forgotten you.
Adelaide's eyes lit up with hope.
Really? What does she say? Please, Myne, tell me.
Myne hesitated for a heartbeat, then nodded.
I'll tell you, but only when it's just the two of us. It'll be our own little secret, all right?
Adelaide nodded fervently, her expression so earnest that it tugged at Myne's heart. Before Myne could continue, the door opened with a soft creak, and Lady Elvira entered, her posture as impeccable as always, her dark gaze swept over the room before settling on Adelaide. I had a feeling you'd be here and not in our classroom. Let us go there to review your previous lessons at once. Say goodbye to Myne now. You can see her once the lessons are complete.
Yes, Lady Elvira.
Adelaide's face no longer betrayed her every emotion as it once had. Where she might have pouted or sulked at the thought of enduring tedious lessons with her grandmother, the little girl now maintained a composed demeanor. Thanks to her continued training, and perhaps Myne's subtle influence, she had learned to mask her feelings and respond with grace. Without a single complaint, Adelaide curtsied neatly and pasted on a polite, pretty smile. She followed Lady Elvira out of the room, her small figure upright and poised, though a quick backward glance toward Myne suggested a quiet longing to stay. Once the door closed, Myne let out a quiet sigh. Her thoughts drifted back to the letters she had received from Dolores. The young woman's tone had shifted over the past weeks, from awkward and apologetic to something more fervent, even obsessive. In one letter, Dolores had written,
If you ever need another female guard mine, I'll leave my current post without hesitation. To serve you would be my greatest honor.
Myne had been careful with her response, acknowledging Dolores' sentiments, but firmly, and in no uncertain terms, discouraging such drastic notions. It was becoming increasingly clear to her that managing Hartmut's fiery devotion already required significant effort, and the thought of adding another equally impassioned and zealous retainer to her service was far from appealing. Yet Dolores seemed undeterred, her heartfelt resolve to be of use to her manifesting in other ways. Her letters recounted with startling candor the steps she had taken to ensure that Lady Isadora and Lady Marina faced the full weight of retribution for their betrayal. Dolores's words were sharp, brimming with a seething vengeance that left Myne torn between unease and a strange, reluctant appreciation. The intensity of Dolores's emotions, though troubling, carried an undeniable sincerity, a testament to how deeply she valued loyalty and justice. It was unsettling, yes, but also oddly touching in its own way. For better or worse, Dolores had chosen to direct her unyielding spirit toward protecting the ideals she held dear, and, by extension, the person she now revered so fervently. After having been so belligerent toward Myne, it was amazing what a little regenerative magic could do.
She has such a fierce heart.
Myne mused.
But I wish she would find a healthier outlet for her devotion.
A soft knock interrupted her thoughts, and Myne turned to see Adelaide peeking through the door once more.
Bix is mine.
She whispered, slipping inside with a mischievous grin.
Lady Vargot, go away. Tell me about Dolores now, please.
Myne laughed softly and patted the seat beside her.
All right, but only for a little while. Lady Elvira will notice if you're gone for too long.
As Adelaide settled in, Myne began to recount bits and pieces of Dolores's letters, carefully omitting the more unsettling parts.
She writes that she's doing well and that she's staying busy continuing her studies, even though the classes were cancelled this year at the Royal Academy. Lord Bonifatius is being much more strict than he used to be, but she rejoices because she says his harsh training is making her into a stronger knight.
Adelaide sighed in relief, her small hands clasped tightly together.
Oh, I'm glad. Great-grandfather and his history lessons are very tough, but I'm glad he's helping her become stronger.
Myne smiled gently at the girl's earnestness. She had heard much about Lord Bonifatius, and knew that he was a pillar of strength for Ehrenfest in many respects. Yet she never met him. That, however, was about to change. A few days after the conversation, Myne and Adelaide were having a quiet tea party with Lady Elvira, when one of the attendants rushed in, breathless and wide-eyed.
My lady, Lord Bonifatius has arrived. He insists on spending time with his great-granddaughter.
Lady Elvira's composure remained unshaken, though a subtle twitch of her eyebrow betrayed a sliver of exasperation at his unscheduled intrusion. "Oh, very well," she said, rising, her voice cool and measured. "Show him in." Despite her calm exterior, Myne could sense the restrained irritation in the noblewoman's voice. Lord Bonifatius' boisterousness was infamous. Eckhart had often regaled her with stories of his grandfather. But he was the family patriarch, and his wishes carried significant weight. Moments later, the room seemed to shrink as Bonifatius made his entrance. The man was massive, broad-shouldered like a bear, with a booming voice that reverberated through the room.
Adelaide!
He bellowed, his face alight with uncontainable joy.
My darling, precious granddaughter, the most beautiful, wonderful girl in the world. Come here and give your great-grandfather a hug.
Adelaide, who appeared tinier than she ever did in comparison to the hulking man beckoning her, walked over to him obediently with a warm smile.
Great-grandfather.
She greeted politely, her tone measured but affectionate.
It's good to see you.
The man reached for the little girl, and the room suddenly buzzed with reminders from attendants and Lady Elvira alike. "Lord Bonifatius, please be gentle," she cautioned sharply. "We are indoors, and she is not a knight to be thrown into the air like a practice dummy." Bonifatius laughed heartily, to sound like a thunderclap.
Ha 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 ha! Oh, relax, Elvira. I'm always gentle.
He declared, though the gleam in his eyes suggested otherwise. He crouched down to scoop Adelaide into a warm, though thankfully restrained embrace. As Adelaide hugged him back with a small smile, Myne observed the scene with a mix of amusement and curiosity. So this was the famed Lord Bonifatius, equal parts warrior and doting family man. She had never expected to meet the man, nor see this doting side of him. The contrast was striking, and she couldn't help but admire the love he so openly displayed, even if his methods were less than conventional.
But oh, who is this?
Lord Bonifatius rumbled, pulling back from his embrace with Adelaide. His sharp gaze landed on Myne, pinning her in place with an intensity that felt as though it could bore straight through her. She fought the sudden, instinctive urge to step back.
She's my big sister Myne, whom I wrote you about.
Adelaide chimed in cheerfully, stepping aside as though to proudly present Myne like a prized treasure. Elvira leaned over to murmur an explanation to Myne, her voice low and composed. I've had Adelaide write him letters to practice her penmanship. I hope you don't mind that you've been a frequent topic. Myne gave a small, stiff nod, desperately hoping that Adelaide's letters had painted her in a favorable light. But then she realized, with great relief, that Elvira's unspoken assurance meant that she herself had overseen those letters, and there was nothing for Myne to worry about. Forcing herself to smile politely, Myne took a deep breath and knelt as gracefully as her condition would allow. She completed the formal blessing with care, all while acutely aware of Lord Bonifatius's piercing gaze on her. Once the greetings were complete, Bonifatius chuckled, the sound a deep rumble of amusement.
A proper greeting. Well done.
He turned to Elvira with a wide grin.
You've trained her well, Elvira.
Elvira gave Myne a small approving nod, which helped ease the tension in her chest. Carwillan, another setting for Lord Bonifatius, she instructed her attendant. Bonifatius shook his head with a dismissive wave of his hand.
I won't be staying long. I only came to see my precious Adelaide.
Despite his words, he lowered himself heavily into a seat at the table, directly across from Myne.
And since I'm here, I thought I'd properly greet this young lady,
he said, gesturing broadly to Myne.
After all, anyone who manages to capture Eckhart's heart deserves some sort of recognition. I decided I'd meet you sooner rather than later.
His eyes twinkled with mischief as he added,
I see you're carrying Gettle's burden already. That boy didn't waste any time, did he?
Myne's cheeks burned with embarrassment, and she quickly lowered her gaze, though she managed to keep a polite smile. Sitting next to her, almost in a protective stance, Elvira's eyes narrowed slightly, but she said nothing about the indelicate remark. Her lips only pressed into a faint line. Adelaide, she said smoothly, her tone brisk, it's time for you to head home. Your attendants are waiting. Adelaide pouted briefly but obeyed without complaint, giving Bonifatius one last hug before the little girl was speedily packed off, leaving only Bonifatius, Lady Elvira, Myne, and their attendants behind. Myne was tempted to squirm in her seat under Bonifatius's scrutinizing gaze. She recalled the distant days of her life as Urano and how she had sat in front of several job interview panels after graduating from college. Somehow, this single man, with his sheer presence and overpowering aura, made those panels seem like a walk in the park. Still, she straightened her back and lifted her chin. She was no longer simply Myne of humble origins. She was a member of the Linkberg family in all but name. She was Eckhart's future bride, and she would not let herself quail before this imposing man. Bonifatius gave Myne a long, appraising look, his sharp eyes glinting with curiosity.
Tell me, have you thought about what you will call this child?
Myne blinked, momentarily caught off guard. As far as she knew, discussing pre-baptismal children, especially the unborn, was typically reserved for the closest family and friends. What did it mean for this formidable man to broach the subject so casually? She decided not to overthink it, and instead follow her instincts. After all, Eckhart had often mentioned that his grandfather's modus operandi was bluntness wrapped in good intentions.
We haven't settled on names yet,
She said carefully.
but with every letter we exchanged, we share ideas. So far, we've narrowed it down to names that start with either E or F.
She didn't bother mentioning how she'd suggested names like Natsume, Akiko, and Murakami, nods to famous Japanese poets and authors from her past life. She had explained as much to Eckhart, and while he had found the names charming in a unique, offbeat sort of way, Lady Elvira, the arbiter of taste, had dismissed them outright as incomprehensible and outlandish. Eckhart, for his part, had suggested naming the child after Ferdinand. That idea, too, had been promptly vetoed.
Why E and F in particular?
Bonifatius asked, leaning forward.
We wish to honor people we respect and love deeply by having our baby's first name start with either one of those letters.
Myne explained.
I see.
Bonifatius stroked his chin thoughtfully.
Then I shall send you name suggestions myself, so I may boast that I had a hand in naming Eckhart's firstborn.
Myne suppressed a laugh at the thought of this gruff, intimidating man sending earnest lists of baby names. Bonifatius glanced at her again, his expression softening slightly.
Do you think it'll be a girl?
Only the gods know, Lord Bonifatius.
Myne replied with a small smile.
But whether it's a boy or a girl, we will raise them with love and...
No, no, no!
He waved a massive hand dismissively.
Girls are far better than boys. They are so much more adorable and rowdy than rowdy, unmanageable boys. We've far too many male Lakebergs around here. A girl would be much better.
He then lost himself in thought, and Myne wondered if he was imagining how he could dote on another little girl, the way he doted on Adelaide. Frankly, the thought of this bare man taking her and Eckhart's baby in his arms with the same overwhelming enthusiasm he showed Adelaide was more terrifying than heartwarming. But then, Bonifatius's expression darkened slightly, and his booming voice lowered in seriousness.
The problem is that Eckhart is away and will remain away for some time. How do the two of you plan to raise this child? You're not even properly married yet.
His sharp gaze darted to Elvira.
Surely you're concerned as I am. Your son should be here to care for his goddess of light, not leave the job to a subordinate goddess.
He turned back to Myne, folding his arms across his broad chest.
And I concede, you're as blessed with efflorulum's graces as they say. So I don't wonder how you managed to snatch Eckhart's heart. But he's far too reckless for his own good. How do you plan to keep up with him? He's not exactly an easy man to deal with.
Myne held his gaze steadily.
Eckhart is a man of honor for whom duty comes first, but he's not without reason, and both he and I are aligned in our priorities.
She replied evenly.
It may have only been a few months, but I believe we've done well enough so far. We have the support of Lady Elvira and Lord Karstedt, and Eckhart and I continue a steady correspondence.
Lord Bonifatius harumphed, but quieted down when Elvira shot him a look.
So come what may,
Myne continued, undeterred.
I intend to see it through. While I await my time to receive my education at the Royal Academy, I don't intend to
While
while away my days in idleness. I shall continue to win over allies, convert opportunities into friends, and do what I can to support House Linkberg and ensure I bring no shame to it.
Lord Bonifatius looked rather surprised. Then the old man threw his head back and laughed, a hearty, booming sound that seemed to shake the very room.
Good! That's what I like to hear. A woman with a spine is exactly what a Linkberg needs. Especially now with my two grandsons causing me so much grief.
He glanced at Elvira.
Trowgut turning out to be so useless. I've given up on that rascal. And Cornelius has grown sloppy. What a disappointment!
Elvira sighed softly, but it seemed she was in some agreement as she did not defend her son.
Discipline makes a man.
Bonifatius continued.
And I don't see much of it in him these days. Both boys need a strong woman to keep them in line.
He nodded firmly, his grin widening.
I heard from reliable sources about how you won over Liebrecht's hot-headed daughter and slimy son so thoroughly. If you can do that, and I've no doubt you'll do fine managing Eckhart. You've got the makings of a true Lindbergh woman. Just remember, this family values strength above all else. Strength of will, strength of character, firm resolve. Prove yourself there, and you'll always have my support.
Myne inclined her head gracefully, her heart steadying as she realized she'd passed another unspoken test. Myne pondered over her unusual encounter with Lord Bonifatius long after he had departed. She had feared his immediate disapproval. Surely a man of his stature would find her humble background unworthy of the Lindbergh name. Even Lady Elvira admitted, in a rare moment of candid astonishment, that Bonifatius granting them his blessing so openly was remarkable, considering his cautious and traditional views on noble life and duchy politics. As Myne reflected, she sifted through the precious bundle of letters that Eckhart had sent her, virtually memorized by now. She searched for a specific line that had tugged at her thoughts. At last, she found it.
Despite how busy he is, Lord Ferdinand continues to do what he can to ensure your safety. His ultimate goal is making sure Sylvester knows and acknowledges your value. You can rest easy, knowing that even the Knight's Order will be on guard.
Her heart skipped a beat as the realization dawned. Did Lord Bonifatius's approval mean that if she were ever in danger again, the entire Knight's Order would be deployed to protect her? The thought was overwhelming. She shuddered, silently praying to the gods that such measures would never be needed. Her thoughts scattered when a soft knock sounded at the door. Myne straightened and called out.
Come in.
Lady Elvira entered, her attendant Carwellin following with the polished wooden box containing the face stones imbued with Eckhart's mana. "Oh, did I interrupt?" Lady Elvira asked, her gaze falling to the letters spread across Myne's bed.
No, not at all.
Myne said quickly, gathering the letters into a neat bundle.
I was just reading a letter from Eckhart. Thinking of him.
Lady Elvira took a seat beside her, her smile warm and knowing. Missing him? Myne heaved a heartfelt sigh.
Yes, more than anything. I wish... Oh, never mind.
No, tell me, Elvira urged gently.
At night, it's the hardest.
Myne confessed, her voice trembling slightly in spite of the brave facade that she was putting on.
I wish I could see him and hold him when I felt the loneliest. But then I remind myself I'm going to be a mother, a Lindbergh. I have to be strong and push aside my silly...
Elvira's eyes glistened as she leaned forward, cupping Myne's cheek tenderly. We are Lindbergh women, dear. We are strong and we defend our home, raising sons who embody that strength. But we are women first and foremost. Don't be ashamed of those feelings. They are to be treasured. For because of them, because of love itself, we are inspired to be stronger and better versions of ourselves. Myne sniffled, her heart swelling with gratitude.
Thank you, Lady Elvira. You're so good to me. I can't believe my luck in being able to call you family. I don't think I could have handled Lord Bonifatius today without your silent support?
Elvira's smile deepened, full of pride and affection. Oh, that was all you, dear. I didn't have to say a word. I simply let him see for himself what a treasure you are. To Eckhart, to me, and to our family. Myne felt a warm glow spreading through her chest at her mother-in-law's words. Elvira reached for the wooden box and nodded. It's late, and you should rest. Let's give manna to the baby, shall we? Myne nodded, removing her outer robe and unbuttoning her nightgown to reveal her belly. Providing manna for an unborn child was a sacred and very private act, even when it wasn't between couples. As such, every time Lady Elvira helped provide manna for the baby, Carwillan placed the box on a small table near Elvira's chair and always stepped out of the room. Elvira opened the box with a soft clink, withdrawing a face stone. Ready? At Myne's nod, Elvira pressed the face stone to Myne's belly, channeling her mana to push Eckhart's into the unborn child. The first time Lady Elvira had provided mana thusly, Myne had felt the sensation of it strange and almost invasive. That had been promptly replaced by acute embarrassment as she exhibited the same signs of arousal that she did when Eckhart and she mixed mana. Elvira's kind assurance had quelled her embarrassment, though. She had told her that it was normal and nothing to be ashamed of. Now, however, the warmth filling her limbs felt comforting and purposeful, and as she directed it toward her child and focused on the little one's well-being, this quiet time was spent imagining how she, or he, was growing inside her, and she no longer found it embarrassing. As they worked, Elvira spoke softly. Eckhart sent more mana this morning. Did I tell you? Myne beamed.
Of course he would. This is Eckhart we're talking about. He always goes above and beyond expectations.
Elvira chuckled. Indeed. I shouldn't be saying this because it would make me sound like I'm picking favorites among my own children, but I do believe I raised him right. Myne smiled, but when Elvira fell silent, the slight crease in her brow betrayed that something waited on her mind.
Lady Elvira, is something wrong?
The older woman hesitated before sighing. Nothing much, dear. I was just thinking about what Bonifatius said today. About Cornelius. It must have hit me harder than it should have. He was a sweet boy, but he was my last, and maybe it's my fault he turned out the way he did. Myne was silent, and Elvira continued. When I was pregnant with Eckhart, Karsten and I were in the prime of our youth. Despite our differences, he always did his duty and provided mana without fail. I believe that's why Eckhart inherited his father's best traits, his strength, loyalty, and honor. Then there was Lamprecht. Karsten was less present when I was pregnant with him, and my mother-in-law had to do what I'm doing for you now. As a result, I feel Lamprecht inherited fewer of his father's best traits, though, thankfully, none of his failings. I was determined to carry on with the pregnancy regardless. Strictly speaking, Cornelius is mine in every way, for better or worse. Is it any wonder I couldn't defend him or speak up for him when Bonifatius said such things about him earlier? I can't even get him to apologize to you, and for that, I'm truly sorry, Myne. Tears welled in Myne's eyes as she reached out and clasped Elvira's trembling hand.
Lady Elvira, please don't say such things. You are a wonderful mother and remarkable woman. Cornelius may have stumbled, but he's still young. He has time to grow, just as Eckhart did. I truly believe that.
Elvira gave a faint, wavering smile as she withdrew the face stone and returned it to the box. Thank you, Myne. I can only hope someone or something comes into Cornelius's life to guide him, to give him the purpose and direction he needs. and I'm so grateful that you do not hate him outright. It means the world to me." Moved by her sincerity, Myne sat up and wrapped her arms tightly around Elvira.
Lady Elvira, I will pray and hope for Cornelius' happiness, because I know what it would mean to you. From the bottom of my heart, I wish him nothing but good, not just for his sake, but for yours.
Elvira finally broke down and cried in Myne's arms. When they finally parted, Elvira's smile was more at peace, her burden lightened. Carwillen returned to carry the box, and as she rose, Elvira leaned down to kiss Myne's forehead gently. "Good night, dear. May Schlafdrum bless your dreams abundantly." As she turned to leave, she paused in the doorway, her expression thoughtful. "Your real mother's name is Aoife, isn't it? She works at a dye workshop in the lower city?"
Yes.
Myne said, her voice sounding a little wistful.
Why do you ask?
Elvira shook her head. "No particular reason. Rest well, Myne." Elvira's question lingered in Myne's thoughts, puzzling her as she drifted off to sleep. 3 days later, however, the answer came to light. Over breakfast, Elvira mentioned casually, "I've summoned a textile company from the lower city. We'll need to pick fabrics for the baby's nursery. The representative will meet us this afternoon." When the appointed time arrived, Myne's breath caught as none other than Aoife entered the room. Myne glanced at Elvira and received a smile and a nod of reassurance before Myne bounded over to her mom and hugged her. Elvira quietly instructed all attendants save Myne's to leave the room, ensuring that Myne and Aoife had as much time as they needed. Elvira's satisfaction on her lips. She knew how much Myne loved and wished to honor Aoife, just as Eckhart wished to honor Lord Ferdinand in naming their children. But Elvira wasn't one to be outdone, not by Bonifatius nor anyone else. She resolved to create a list of beautiful names, ones that would honor their family and lineage while respecting Myne's desires. If anyone was to have the honor of naming Eckhart's firstborn, it would be her. Later that evening, Myne returned to Elvira, her eyes alight with gratitude. Words seemed unnecessary. Myne didn't need to explain how much seeing her birth mother had meant to her, nor how the quiet reassurances of their afternoon together had eased her worries about her own impending motherhood. Elvira could see it all in her radiant expression.
Thank you.
Myne whispered, leaning in to press a soft kiss to Elvira's cheek.
Mother.
The gentle peck and that single precious word pierced Elvira's heart, filling it with a warmth she hadn't anticipated. She pulled Myne into a tender embrace, her voice trembling, yet strong with emotion. "It is my joy, Myne, truly, to call you my daughter." Held in Elvira's arms, Myne felt tears well in her eyes, but they were tears of gratitude, of love, and of belonging. As she later penned a letter to Eckhart, her thoughts struggled to keep pace with her overflowing heart. How could she put into words the love she carried now for both mothers in her life? Aoife, who had given her everything despite their humble beginnings, who had nursed her through her frailty and shown her the quiet, unshakable strength of a mother's love. And Elvira, who had embraced her with unwavering grace, guiding her through the labyrinth of noble life, offering not just wisdom, but the fierce protective devotion of a second mother. Midway through her letter, Myne felt it, a distinct flutter deep within her belly. She gasped softly, her quill slipping from her fingers. This was no imagining. The baby inside her had moved. Her heart surged with joy. This child, her and Eckhart's child, was alive and growing, and already making its presence known. Myne pressed a hand to her belly, overwhelmed by a profound connection to the life within her. It almost seemed like all her fears seemed to melt away. Even the long, lonely nights would no longer feel empty. Was not a part of Eckhart with her always now? Winter's chill might linger in the world outside, but inside her, spring had already begun to bloom. She closed her letter with a promise to Eckhart that she would love their child with the same devotion and tenderness as she had been shown, first by her mother in Japan, then by Aoife, and then by Elvira, her precious mothers, whose love had shaped her and would now guide her as she embarked on this new wondrous chapter of life. Myne realized then and there that there was no longer any need to search for baby names, for in her heart, the answer had already taken root. If their child was a girl, she would honor both her mothers with a name that spoke to the very essence of what their love had given her. In a world currently rocked by unrest, treachery, and betrayals, where bonds were being tested to their very limits, in a world where snow seemed to linger eternally, blotting out life, spring, and sunshine, where some were beginning to lose heart and were looking to the future with eager anticipation was considered foolishness. In such a world, what was needed most wasn't strength or power. It was hope.
Speranza.
The name wasn't just a name she'd gotten from one of the many books she'd read. It was a declaration. It carried within it a promise to her child, to herself, and to the world that even in the face of adversity, hope would prevail. Life would prevail. It was the gift that Myne would give to her, the child growing inside her, a name born of love and belief in brighter days ahead. Her hands cradled her belly, and her heart swelled with quiet joy.
Yes,
She whispered.
Esperanza. Hope for the future.
It was no wonder, then, that night, as she closed her eyes and drifted into slumber, she dreamt of Eckhart's return. In her dream, the snow had melted away, revealing a path lined with blooming flowers. The air was warm and thrilled with the melody of singing birds and the gentle hum of bees flitting from one bloom to another. The world felt alive again, every sound and scent a celebration of renewal, and Eckhart, her friend and lover, her noble warrior, and the very sunshine of her life, stood at the end of that path, his arms outstretched and his face alight with joy. Beside Myne stood little Esperanza, her small hand nestled in Myne's, her sky-blue eyes bright with anticipation. Together, mother and daughter ran forward to welcome him home. End of chapter. Chapter notes.
Good chapter.
Motherhood, yeah. Chapter notes. All week long, I wrote this around a little before Thanksgiving. I was super sick. So sick, you guys. It was the time when I got delayed, so I forgot to send in my Zent orders on time. So it was around that time. But yeah, during that Thanksgiving week, before Thanksgiving week, I could only just write, so I wrote chapter 106 and 107. So, but yeah, thank you for your encouragement. Your comments give me lots of strength and motivation. Yay. By the way, you guys, you guys said good chapter, but I just have to say, those readings, so good. Bonifatius, what the heck? Patrick?
Yeah.
Was so real.
I was laughing so much. Like, I was, what is this? Oh my god, the Bonifatius materialized here.
Yeah.
He's perfect.
He's alive. I
Patrick for
I gotta explain that. I mean, I was thinking, how am I going to do such a boisterous man. And then I'm thinking, you know what? There's someone in a very, very well beloved Muppet Christmas Carol. Some of you may already know which one I'm talking about, but I'll keep explaining. The Ghost of Christmas Present. And I'm like, that is perfect. I'm going to try to channel that. I don't know if I did it right, but I will try to do it.
Well, it sounded really great because you had that gruffness, but also that kind of like energy. The energy of Bonifatius. You nailed it. Congrats.
Hire Patrick for
Thank you.
the version of Bonnie.
Yeah. Jeremy, were you going to say something?
Oh, that's it.
Oh, okay.
You need to hire Patrick.
Yeah, right. We have to get him to audition for season 3 dubbing. We don't get a lot of Bonifatius though on part 3, do we? Like, we only get him like toward the end, I feel.
I think you might be right, because I don't remember him a lot in part 3. Most of part 3 is the hunt for the ingredients.
I have a feeling that everybody was just keeping him away, like they were like pushing him away, like all the time. Rosamine
they absolutely were.
Like, she is blissfully unaware that there's this big hulking man that wants to do just about anything he can to get close to her, but they're all pushing him away, like, no, Bonifatius, down, get away. You're gonna kill her.
I mean, she's blissfully unaware of a lot of things, especially the many people that they're keeping away from her.
Yeah. So it's one of the casualties of this is that we don't get to see a lot of Bonifatius until towards the end, when he almost kills her. You guys, she almost gets killed by Bonifatius. So we see that he doesn't have a precious granddaughter. He has a precious great-granddaughter, and that is Adelaide. And Adelaide is not sickly and frail as Rosamine was, but there's still that concern, like, she's still a little child. Please, don't crush her. Don't throw her in the air like a dummy.
Did someone say crusher? Crusher, get in this chat.
I mean, don't throw her in the air like a dummy, or don't crush her in your hug. Yeah. So
it was interesting to see both sides of Bonifatius this time, because this is it. He also was like the doting grandfather who is absolutely adorable and very loving and stuff, but also like the more serious Bonifatius that is the Archduke candidate and all. Interesting.
That was the hardest part for me, because I needed to, like, he had to approve of her. That was the end goal. Like, he has to approve of her. But I also couldn't like stretch it out too long.
It's Myne. Of course he's gonna approve of her. Who wouldn't approve of this girl?
Well, this is a commoner girl. That's the only thing. Like,
I know.
So there were a lot of things I had to just like, okay, just power through. I know, like, in my head, I was just saying, like, he wouldn't have, like, approved her so quickly, blah, blah, blah. But then, if you think about it, it's not just intelligence from, like, he knows about her not just from Adelaide. He's also met Myne now, but there's also, like, a lot of stuff that he's learned from Ferdinand, Sylvester, who has also been laying groundwork to present her in as positive light as possible. So by the time he meets Myne, it's just to reaffirm the positive things that he already knows about her. So
he also has those very uncanny instincts of his.
That's true. So that was fun. And I have to thank also the Discord people, because the people over on the Discord, the official one, they were like, "Oh, it's such a pity we don't get Bonifatius." I was like, you know what? We do need a Bonifatius scene. So
You know what? Yes, I'm with them in that, because it was a great disservice not to have him. So I'm glad you fit him in.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. It's good to have comments from people who are reading this. I do like to read all the comments. It's interesting to see where people think these stories are going or the characters are going. I don't include ideas, but they do, like, I'm like, oh, I should probably think about that, because sometimes I write and I don't think about other considerations. So your comments are very much welcome, and they're helpful too. Teal points out Sasuga Elvira-sama making the big brain moves and doubling up on the mom power. Oh yeah, Elvira. I love that woman so much. So we had a little bit of a scene, and of course this is in my head, okay? But in this broken weave where everything is drama dialed to 10, since I decided that she's stuck in a tragic, unrequited love, so I said, you know what? Let's just make even her motherhood story painful. I mean, think about it. Like, Cornelius is basically her, but in male form. Like, he's basically her baby. He looks like her, has the same eye color, same hair color. So it was not a little. It was a little bit of a leap, but I don't think it's too unreasonable to just say, like, maybe Karsten wasn't as close or attentive to Elvira during her third pregnancy.
Yeah, makes sense.
And I don't know when exactly it was that he married the third wife, but maybe it was around that time that he stopped, providing for Mana. Maybe because he was already contemplating the third wife. So
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff
It's tragic all around.
Yeah, it is tragic all around. Again, this is just me liking the melodrama a little bit too much, so thank you for letting me play around a little.
Gee, I wonder what influenced that taste of yours.
Yeah. I will not say no. I did like reading a lot of romance novels that are like, oh, the pain. So, yes.
And what does she like to do to her favorite people?
Make them suffer. Exactly. I'm glad you guys are finally catching on to my MO. Yukihime says, I'm so glad that Myne has such great mothers by her side. Yeah. So she has Elvira, she has Aoife, she has her mom in Urano. Again, this is a little bit of a callback to canon where she told, I think it was Ferdinand, that she told, like, I want to have a child that I can show all the love that I received from all my mothers. So, kind of different situations, but the same heart is in there. She appreciates all of them now.
I'm not gonna lie, I was actually slightly expecting their child's name to be Encanta.
Encanta?
Yeah, I'm sure I said that wrong, but
Encanta. Me encanta. Encantar, like the verb. Because there's encanto.
Yeah, that would seem a little more masculine, though.
Yeah, encanto would be more masculine. Encanta. I don't know if that's... Is that a name?
Oh,
I think it is a
I
name.
like Esperanza better, though.
Oh, okay.
I'm not gonna... Oh, yeah, I definitely like it better.
Encanta also has its charm. También tiene su encanto. I'm sorry, you guys, if you're Encanta tiene su encanto. I'm sorry. If you're a Spanish person, I hope you enjoyed that a little bit.
Esperanza reminds me of one of my favorite names for a woman. It's Esmeralda.
Oh, Esmeralda. I love that name. I immediately think of the Hunchback of Notre Dame. Yeah, Esmeralda is a beautiful name. And I forget how I came up with Esperanza. I think it just came to me as I was writing. I'm like, oh yeah, that's a really good name. So I tied it. I think I wrote this in November. So yeah, I was like, yeah, the world needs all kinds of things right now. So that was Esperanza. We need hope. And so I like that name. And probably if I have a kid, I'll probably name her Esperanza if it's a girl. I like that name a lot.
Yeah, it's pretty, and I like the meaning. And also, I'm glad you actually put a name that isn't just like Germanic, because that story is usually like with Germanic words, but like something like from your culture. I love it in fanfics. There's so many fanfics that specifically have names or stuff from the writer's culture, and I love it. I love this so much.
Thank you. I was afraid that people would be like, where the heck did she get that name? I'm like, she read a book in her Urano days and she liked that name. That's it. That's how I prepared myself to defend my choice.
Yeah, I think everyone on the planet could hear this name. Like, it's common enough.
Yeah. In my
Akihana is also appreciating your insertion of your culture. I guess.
Yeah, Spanish. Yep, Esperanza is the Spanish. Nice. Yay, Akihana. By the way, Akihana, where are you? How are you? We miss you. Just woke up.
Get in here.
Just woke up. Haven't had breakfast yet. Ooh, now that I mentioned, I'm getting hungry. I only had breakfast, so yeah. I just woke up, says Akihana. Hadn't back breakfast, so just came to say hello. And I'm gonna hop back out. Oh, she left. Oh no.
She left us. No.
Oh, but she's back now. All right. Happy to see you, Akihana. Any other things about this that I need to remark upon if you have questions? Let's see. Oh, we got Dolores. By the way, always happy to see Dolores. What do you guys think of Dolores' evolution now?
It makes sense. She's been contaminated by Hartmut.
Contaminated?
I mean, to me,
work.
she is fully the Clarissa of this story.
Yes. That's where I intended her to go, to become the Clarissa of this weeb. So Myne finds it very troubling. She's like, oh my gosh, what is this? No. Yeah, she wants to join, she wants to become her guard. She is so willing to quit working for the future Archduchess. Yes. You guys know what this means, right? If she continues being a good knight and becomes her closest knight, she could, and she works hard, at one point she may end up being the future knight's commander, and she is willing to put that aside just to be close to Myne. So pretty,
I mean, she owns her life, so
amazing what a little regenerative magic will do.
a little, she says.
A little.
Just a tad.
Just a helping hand.
Oh no, that was great. That was awesome. I love that. A helping hand. Ouch. So, okay, we got Bonifatius, we got Adelaide, who misses Dolores, but she's growing. Are we gonna get more Adelaide soon? I forget if we're gonna get more Adelaide. We will get a little bit more Adelaide, maybe. I think this might be her last appearance. So, but we see that she's growing. She is no longer like when we first met her. She was super nervous, anxious. She was just baby. So now she is less baby. She is becoming more and more graceful and noble-like. So good on her.
So I'm kind of wondering if Cornelius will have his Lenore. So I mean, obviously Lenore from this story can't be his wife anymore, but will he find someone who could take that place?
Ooh.
I don't think he deserves it.
Oh.
Okay, we thought that about Dolores. I'm gonna be absolutely fair here. We thought that about Dolores, and we know from the canon storyline that Cornelius can be a very good person.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, but I feel like in the canon, it's not Leonor who made him better, but Rosamine, who he had to prove himself to his little sister and stuff. So I don't know.
And who's gonna be his little sister-in-law?
Oh.
Well, provided the world doesn't end soon, he may have his redemption arc. But I mean, there is that gigantic ticking time bomb.
I am saying this in hopes of maybe prolonging the story a little bit.
No.
putting little seeds in Magpie's mind, like, ooh, maybe this is a good idea.
Stop it.
That sounds like an epilogue, more like.
Epilogue, yeah. I'll consider epilogues, maybe. I'll consider it. I don't know, like, you have to read and find out to see what happens. But I'm just saying,
and if you would like to hear more and see this happen in the future, I'm sorry. I was
We're
really
out of
looking for a
practice.
segue to do it.
We're out of
I
practice.
was looking for a segue to make this happen. But if you would like to see this happen in the future, or maybe hear us talk more about interesting new topics, please like and subscribe and follow the Magpie. You can always join us on the Ko-fi, which would give you access to the Discord, and we have a lot of fun over there as well. So definitely want to see you over there.
Join us. Join us.
Join us. Join us.
Yeah. Join us, you guys. Ko-fi members. Ko-fi members have little perks and stuff that you can only see once you become a member for reasons. So just get on over here and have fun. But if not, I understand sometimes, like students and whatnot, you have obligations, but you can always support me always by liking, commenting, sharing, not just in here but in the other channel, and that would really help a lot.
That's right. You're in the middle of editing a certain recording that we did recently.
My gosh, it's 9 hours, you guys. 9 hours of footage I have to get through to condense into 2 hours. I am over my head. But I'm working on it. It's getting done, you guys. So yeah, there's stuff that I'm working on, and I do hope that you have enjoyed so far our read-alongs. Again, we are gonna switch it up from Monday Wednesdays to Wednesday Fridays. Fridays 1 o'clock like usual, like Mondays. Wednesdays remain the same, 4 o'clock, all hours specific, all time specific. And yeah, I think that's all we need to cover today, right? Yes. I like this comment by Haremy. Says, I feel like Adele likes being thrown by Bonnie. You know what? He has thrown her in the air. He has. And she liked it.
Of course he has.
But it was always like when nobody was around to intervene. So he throws her up and he catches her. Like, And then one time Elvira saw and she was like, "What are you doing?" So that was prohibited. But yes, she has liked it. But he never managed to like throw her where the ceiling was too close. So it was in the 3-story room. So she was safe. She wasn't about to hit the ceiling.
You mean like what he did to
Yes.
Rosemine that one time in Canada?
Yes. Except that here he was a little bit more conscientious, and he was like, "Let's go to where there's lots of space." And so she liked
Or
it.
outside is also an option.
Yeah, outside too. But he can't do it
Yes,
anymore.
the people riding high-vis see a little girl flying.
He's casting her out into orbit now. That's okay. Grandpa Bonnie would definitely like fly in his high beast to catch her, so that'll be fine.
So this is making me think of a certain sitcom from the 90s that Magpie might be aware of,
Huh?
called Dinosaurs.
Oh no! Oh my gosh, that's
The
Whoa!
baby.
core
Again!
memory unlocked. Core memory unlocked, man. I remember that show. I did not speak a word of English, but I was like nothing to watch. I think it was like I remember. Yeah, that was one of the shows I used to watch to learn English, you guys. Man.
Is that the one that he says, "Not my mommy," something like that?
Not the mama, not the mama.
Yeah. I watch it in
remember that.
Portuguese.
Yeah, I remember that. Oh my gosh, Patrick.
That was
Oh.
one of my favorite shows back then.
Oh, wow. I remember that show. Man. You know what other
The
show
ending was.
Huh?
The ending of Dinosaurs is crazy. We probably don't have time to
Oh,
go
yeah.
into it
Wait,
right
wait,
now.
wait. How did
God.
it end? I didn't follow the sitcom, but how did it end?
Meteor.
Oh,
Yeah.
so they all
Dinosaurs get wiped out.
really? That's how it ends? Did they leave?
Oh yeah.
And children watched it as it ended like that? Did they explain anything? Did they try to put him in dinosaur heaven or anything? What? Closure? No?
I mean, this way they can definitely say there's not going to be a remake.
Wow. You know, in the 90s
That's
they really
brutal.
in the 90s they really taught children life lessons. And if that's the case, it goes with the 90s 80s vibe, which is like
Oh yeah.
people will die
I mean,
and
that
It's
show had one
inevitable.
of my absolute favorite anti-drug messages when the son, he was taking whatever those egg drugs were, and yeah, it was a really good chilling episode.
oh yeah. Also about the
Speaking
girl
of
with
killing, I believe it was the Ice Age that killed the dinosaurs not in reality, but in the show.
the Oh
Was it?
man.
I could have sworn it was either way they got wiped out.
And either way, the kids that were watching and were fans, they were like, "What? This is not Saved by the Bell, you
Look.
guys.
Look,
People die."
in the 80s and 90s, our entertainment traumatized us.
I know.
I mean, just look at Neverending Story
Oh, stop it! Stop it! No.
or Dark Crystal.
Oh well, which one?
Dark Crystal,
Oh,
maybe even
I didn't
Labyrinth.
watch that one, but it sounds dark. I'm sorry.
Oh, David Bowie was in it.
Oh, okay. I didn't. You know what? I have to admit, you guys, I don't understand. Well, I did like some of his music, but the appeal, I didn't quite get it. The appeal of David Bowie. I'm sorry. It's just probably not my type.
Not everybody can have good taste.
Yeah, I thank you for your understanding. We'll talk after this, okay? we're not gonna do this live.
I'm gonna get banned, everybody.
You will
She's
be
gonna start us for the next
reprimanded.
weeks.
You'll be reprimanded. All right. But yeah. Anyway, a lot of chit chat. If you guys haven't noticed, I haven't talked to the crew in about a week, so we're just kind of like chatting and shooting the breeze. But I do have to get back to work. But first, I have to get dinner. And everybody has to go sleep and do other things. And so we close this read along. Just reminding you, we'll see you on Friday for chapter 108. We're still going to be in Ehrenfest, so do stick around for that one. And yeah, I think you'll enjoy that chapter. And yeah, thank you again to those who read today. We had Yukihime who read Myne, Patrick who read Eckhart and Bonifatius, Haremy who read Adelaide, Teal who read Dolores and the Attendant. And again, Haremy for highlighting. Thank you very much. And thank you guys for joining us. I hope to see you in the next one. Bye-bye, gang.
Bye-bye.
Bye.